Hey guys, I just wanted to do this video kind of documenting the whole experience I've had living with the coronavirus and the symptoms and just everything I've been going through for the last week. First, I want to thank you all for the incredible support you've been showing. Since I came out about this, you guys have been flooding our YouTube channel and Facebook with very positive energy and comments and prayers especially. I really thank you guys for that. I can't tell you how much that's really touched me right here. Um, but it's been rough. I mean, it's been kind of dealing with not only the symptoms of what I'm going through, but the isolation and everything. Not being able to work, not being able to go out, not being able to, interact with people like I normally do is quite challenging. So, to just kind of document the whole experience, on February 28th, I had a visitor that came from a show that was at the Tampa CEDIA show, and he wanted to come and check out the new RBH SVTRS speaker system that I'm reviewing. He wanted to hear it. This is an older gentleman that is a marketing person for a media company that's trying to work with Audioholics on the new smart home project. So I invited him to come out and take a listen to the speakers, and he showed up on February 28th, and I invited him in, gave him a drink, put on some tunes. We discussed the speakers, we discussed business. It's about an hour and a half meeting, pretty normal stuff. Shook hands and parted our ways. Well, I guess about 3 days later, I started feeling bad stomach cramps, and which led to like diarrhea. And I just assumed I ate something bad the night before, or I just was consuming too much coffee because I love coffee, and I just didn't really think much of it, and I just kind of endured it for a day or two. And then I woke up one morning, I was just completely lethargic. I had like no energy, like I didn't sleep at all. I just felt like my whole body crashed. It was quite debilitating just feeling like that. But I try to go through it, and I try to just hop myself up on caffeine and just go about my daily life. And then the next day it was getting worse. Like I started getting a lot of body pain. And again, at that point, I just assumed, because I have so many pre-existing conditions, I have herniated discs in my back, a lot of weightlifting injuries from my youth. I just, assumed I was just feeling that. But it wasn't until the day after that I started realizing maybe I'm sick. I started having a sore throat, irritated ears, all that stuff. And again, I assumed it was just part of either a pollen issue, because I live in Florida and I have severe sinus issues. I just assumed all these different things were because I'm suffering from a common cold. And I kind of pushed through it for a few days. And then on Saturday, I woke up and I was feeling a lot better. And I decided it's time to get my life back to normal. I spent almost a week at home, not going out because I wasn't feeling that great. So Saturday I went to the gym and I did my workout, and I did my bench presses, I did my elliptical, all that stuff. And I was fortunate I didn't come in contact with anybody at the gym. I went during the day when it was not very crowded. And I wipe down everything before and after I use the machines, just how I am. I'm kind of, a little bit of a neat freak with that stuff. I'm germaphobe, if you will. So I got home and I was feeling good that day. I was happy that I was able to get back into my normal routine in life. And then Sunday I woke up and I crashed again. I literally had no energy and I was just not feeling great. But I tried my best to just do family activities, go out with my mom and my brother because they wanted to look for new houses, and went out to a restaurant. And I got home and I was just not feeling the greatest, but not feeling like really horrible. And then Monday is when I came into my office here, because I work from home, as you guys know. And I was just trying to answer emails, and I got a call. And I got a call from one of the gentlemen that visited me on the 28th. And he let me know that first he asked me how I was feeling, and I told him I'm not feeling that great. Honestly, I'm thinking about going to see a doctor. That's when he told me his colleague tested positive for coronavirus, and he and his wife are now in the ICU in Louisville, Kentucky. And I just kind of like gasped. Like I thought at first it was a joke or something. Like how can this happen to me? This, this is all new. There was only a few cases in the United States when we found out about this. What are the odds? I'm a mathematical kind of inclined person. I just don't think, I didn't think statistically it was significant that I can get something like that. But I also didn't realize that this gentleman was traveling overseas before he came to visit me. And otherwise, I would have probably been more cautious and not had someone in my house knowing what's going on right now. So I called my doctor, and she got a hold of the health department, and they coordinated to get me tested in Wesley Chapel, Advent Health Group at the hospital, which is about a 35-minute drive from me. And just to be clear, it's not easy to get tested for this. I know that you see in the media that they're saying, there's a perfect test that anybody can get it, and that's not the case. It's very difficult to get tested. The only way they test you now is if you were in direct contact with someone with coronavirus and you're showing symptoms. That's the only way you can get tested as far as I know. So I went to the hospital on Monday night, and I went to the ER where I put a mask on, and they put me in an isolated area of the ER. And they literally kept me in that room for about 4 or 5 hours. And I froze my butt off. They wouldn't give me any liquids, and it was just not a fun thing. They checked me for strep. I was negative for strep. They checked me for pneumonia. I was negative for pneumonia. They checked me for the regular flu, influenza, and I didn't have that either. So they concluded that it's possible that I have the coronavirus, and they gave me that test, and it was quite painful for me because I have sinus issues to begin with, and they shoved, a stick up my nose, for lack of a better term for what it's called. And they did it twice. So they sent the samples off to 2 different locations to get tested, and they told me it would take 48 hours to get the results, but that I should go home and be quarantined. Well, just being in that hospital for 4 or 5 hours and not drinking anything just kind of put a toll on me. Like the whole time I was sick, I never had a fever. It never went above 99.2, which is why I didn't think I was that bad. But when I was at that hospital, towards the end, it spiked to 102.5, and I had to drive home like that at 2:30 in the morning because nobody could drive me, and that was pretty tough because I just really felt run down, drained from that whole experience. And that's the thing I noticed about this coronavirus thing. It's like you think you're feeling better and everything's okay, but then if you do something that's physically taxing, it just hits you really hard again. Like just trying to produce content or doing a video or doing some interviews. I did some interviews with the local news channels through Skype. I kind of regret some of that because that was pretty taxing and I was misquoted and some of that stuff. But anyways, I'm just trying to get the information out. If you guys feel like you're starting out with a stomach ache, I mean, I've talked to other people that have had coronavirus as well, and it started out with a stomach ache, mild diarrhea kind of stuff. Body chills, even if you don't have a high temperature, the body chills were constant with me. The body pains, and then the intermittent sore throat and ear aches. That's kind of the stuff. And then even if you have like depression, which I suffer from a mild case of, that got worse. It's like any pre-existing condition that I had just felt a lot worse, like 10 times worse since I've had this coronavirus thing. And the best thing I could say is you do need rest. I wish I could get more rest. It's not so easy being so isolated from everybody and relying on other people to do stuff for me. I hate that. But rest is key. Tylenol, 8-hour extra strength, the arthritis version, that has been like my godsend. Every 8 hours I take that to control the fever, and it's really helped. It also controls my body pain. That just works for me. I also use a nebulizer treatment with albuterol and a couple of different meds. I forgot which ones my wife put in it. My wife's a nurse, so she's been kind of really taking good care of me. But the albuterol, the nebulizer treatments to help with the tightness of my chest, even though I don't have pneumonia, it just feels like someone is sitting on my chest all the time. So that's been helpful. And then I take a prescription strength cough medicine just to slow down that cough. And it's not a wet cough, it's more of a dry cough, but it's persistent and it's annoying. So those kind of things really help. Of course, the regular vitamins, vitamin C, energy boosters, that kind of stuff. Arbonne is another thing I think I take to boost your immunity. So a lot of liquids. I do find drinking hot teas kind of helps kind of calm me and make me feel a little bit better. I've been drinking a lot of coconut water. I think the electrolytes are important to get back into your body. I lost like 8 pounds since this whole ordeal. And a lot of it, I'm sure, is water weight, but also I'm not working out or anything right now. So I hope this helps you guys understand and not fear this coronavirus thing. The hardest part is just to being isolated from everybody. Unfortunately, my daughter can't go to school now. They closed their school down. And as you guys know, the NBA closed down, hockey closed down, Disney just closed down. So this is going to be far reaching, unfortunately, before it gets better. And aside from the people that are sick, which is the worst of it, I am worried too, because our business is kind of suffering already. We lost 2 advertisers, at least temporarily, because they can't produce product. They can't get the stuff because of what's going on in China. So this has been it's been affecting their business, and it's affecting our business indirectly as well. I'm worried about the housing market, how that's going to affect that. But you know what? We got to live it one day at a time and not panic, and kind of work together as a community and treat people humanely. Just because someone has this coronavirus, don't treat them like it's the death plague or whatever. Most people, I think 80% of people that are healthy recover from this. It is a little bit more persistent than a regular flu, I could tell you that much. Normally I get off of a flu, I recover from a flu within 4 or 5 days. This has been now 8 or 9 days, and I'm still kind of struggling with it. So it is different than the regular flu for sure. And just protect yourself and protect your family, and be understanding of those that have this, because there's probably a lot more people that have it than you realize in the United States right now, just because they're having a hard time being able to diagnose everybody. There's not enough testing that's being able to be done right now. So I hope this helps, guys. I did one more video. I did a kind of a fun video on most influential speakers that I grew up with when I found out I had the coronavirus, to kind of get my mind off of it. But the content's going to be slow for a little bit. I hope you guys understand that. Again, I appreciate all the support. I just can't believe, like, people in the industry that I haven't talked to in years that have emailed me, colleagues, friends, just people that maybe aren't even friends, even competitors from other magazines have reached out and gave me their best wishes. And I really appreciate that, guys. It makes you really feel like there is a greater good in humanity, that we will get through this together, and stay vigilant and be fair and be kind to people, and stay safe. Keep your hands clean, practice good hygiene, maybe lay off the handshakes for a while until we get this thing under wraps. And yeah, that's it. Again, thanks for all the great comments, my friends. And until next time, keep listening.